What happens to the gospel message of forgiveness and freedom when you try to add something to it, or when you put a condition on it? This is exactly what the Apostle Paul is getting at in his letter to the Galatians. There were people in Galatia who were still requiring circumcision as a condition of being Christian. They were adding to the gospel. Listen to Chris talk about why Paul was so firm about there being absolutely no conditions to Christ's gospel.
If Paul were to give an inch, then it would be like when I walk out into the bathroom and my wife says, "I love you." And then my skeptic acid kicks in and I say, "Why?" Thankfully, all these years, she has never answered the question. Because if she answered the question with something like, "Because you do the dishes," what would I be doing the rest of my life? This is what Paul's getting at with the idea of circumcision. You add something to a promise and you've made it conditional. And no longer is it free, absolute free gift. When my wife says, "I love you," it's absolute free gift when she doesn't answer the question, why? And so in short, when Paul preached, nothing was required of those who heard the message. Nothing. You just hear Christ's declaration, and that's it. That is to say, the gift of freedom was actually what it says, free and unconditional. Now, here's the thing. There is no and or but added to Paul's thing. There is either or. You are either free, and we call it categorical. And this, by the way, makes people very nervous in this day and age, because most people think, especially when it comes to religion, but most even politics or ethics, it's not black and white. This is one of those categorical black and whites. And it goes back to what we were talking about last week, when we made the distinction between being pardoned or on parole. And so if my wife had given me an answer to the question why, I would be on parole. And it would be me making myself lovable. And then when one of the dishes didn't come clean, my skeptic acid would have full reign. And so this is why Paul says, absolutely pardon, no gray here, black and white, categorical free gift. It's an either or. So, no works required? Seriously? Really? Works of the law were not required of the Gentiles in order to be considered Christian. That is to say, they had nothing to do. And this is the shocker. You have nothing to do to make you a Christian. The primary example in this instance for Paul was circumcision, but also likely pertained to dietary laws and Sabbath observance. Believe it or not, coming to church does not make you a Christian. Christ's word, hitting your ears, causing you to believe it, is what makes you a Christian. Thus, you would come to church to encounter Christ's word. But just coming to church isn't going to make you a Christian.